Hello, Saints. It's Sister Junebug here with another recap and review of Kingdom Business, Season 2, Episode 2. I want to be happy. And that's all we ever want to be is happy. And the synopsis for this episode is Sasha and Darlene both take advantage of Denita's post-traumatic amnesia. Taj is pressured to propose to Essence. Oh, Lord. Rebel closes up to producer Xavier. Girl, child. And Calvin desperately seeks redemption. And he looking in all the right and wrong places. Anyhow, before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to my channel as of yet, please take a moment right now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And y'all know that like button is the thumbs up. Comment and share, cause what they say, sharing is caring. Okay, so it starts with Taj running down the hallway to the waiting room to get everyone and let them know everyone is his daddy and his sister. And let them know that Denita woke up. They all looking at her saying, it's a miracle, you know. It's a good day and all kind of stuff. Then Denita is looking at them, looking at her, and she says, I'm tired. And she goes back to sleep. So CJ walks away and Taj takes this moment to apologize to his father for the way that he treated him and blamed him for hurting Denita. And Bishop said, you had every reason to feel that way. And Taj said, can you forgive me? And Bishop said, Taj, I'm your father. And they hugged. And I'm like, well, is that a yes or no? You know, I mean, is it yes or no? Who he think he is? Darth Vader in the Empire Strike Back?
Taj, I am your father.
Lord Jesus, I'm so crazy. But I'm telling y'all right now, something didn't seem right about that line. That line, is he really his father? Or is it Caesar? One child. Let's just start some scandal in the church, okay? Anywho. So now we see the doctor talking to the three of them, and he's letting them know that Denita has a little amnesia, and that's from the head injury. And he also let them know that because of the swelling went down where the bullet was, lodged, it moved away. So from where it was near her spine. So now they said they could remove it successfully without any concern. And then as they talking about the bullet, they started mentioning about the bullet. Denita wake up and said, a bullet? Somebody shot me? And they said, you don't remember? She said, I don't remember anything. So now back at the strip club, Rebel is on the pole doing her dancing. And she comes down and they see that some man come up to her and tell her that Xavier James, the music producer, he wants a private dance with her because he really wanted her to just go over there and dance with him. But she said, no, he could come see me in the VIP. So that's how it became a private dance. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. And then Dex saw her and he said, that's good. You playing hard to get. She said, no, I'm top shelf. And he said, well, if you really want to be top shelf, I have a proposition for you. And she said, what is that? I'm listening. He said, it's a private party. The money is good, but these are folks you don't want to F with. I said, oh, Lord. So Rebel said, it sounds like her kind of people, and told him to let her know when and where. Now, back at the hospital, Malcolm let CJ know that they will be discharging Denita in like 2 days or something like that. And so CJ thinks that it's too soon, that Denita, she's not ready to come home because of her memory loss. She said she ain't ready for no home care. So Malcolm is telling her that Denita is recovering well after that second surgery. They removed the bullet and it's doing good. And he added, she's a pleasure to be around since the amnesia. Lord, that's so funny. So then CJ said, if you think it's such a good idea for them to release her, then you gonna be her new in-home nurse. And Malcolm like, you got to be joking. And she said, I sure ain't. And so Malcolm doesn't like that at all. But his wife said he's the only person she would trust with her mother's recovery needs. Anyway, then back at the club, Rebel was waiting in the VIP and she decided to leave, and that's when Xavier shows up finally. So as Rebel is dancing for him, she starts singing. And he asked her, is she trying to turn this into an audition? I said, oh, Lord, girl, she's so smart. I would have did the same thing if I was a whole lot younger and like before when I was sexy. Anyway, so she gets him to meet with her the next day at his studio so that he can really hear her sing. So he told him that once he hears her, he will be begging to sign her. He said, oh, you're a confident one. She said, that's right. That's right. So now we have Taj coming into Denita's space with her room, because they had her like out in the open area, it seemed like before. But now she in the room, and he's coming with his guitar, and she said, Taj, right? You my son. And he said, that's right, ma'am. Yes, you I am. And so he said, he gonna be playing the guitar, and thought they could sing some songs together to see if it'll stir up some memories in her mind. So she was like, okay. So he started playing a song, and she was just listening, and she did come up with some of the words. So it was helping a little bit, and that was a blessing. Now, what was funny though is she said, I wrote that song, right? And he said, no, actually Malcolm wrote it. She said, Malcolm the nurse, and I started laughing. But she actually stole that song from Malcolm, her little evil self. That's right, she stole it. So now Rebel shows up at Xavier James' studio, and she's talking to him about to, do her audition, and who walks in but little Miss Essence, acting like she didn't know she early. She's like, I'm early and stuff. And Xavier's like, in the 10 years we've been homies, you ain't never been early. Y'all pay attention to that, because see, that little Miss Essence is being sneaky. She doing some sneaky diggy stuff, talking about, if somebody in the university, she had this saw herself introducing them to, introducing Rebel to them. But now it happened. She manifested it and all this nonsense and stuff. And she was like, oh, are you signing? She doing the audition? And he said, you gotta go, Essence. You gotta go. And she said, oh, okay, well, she just signed her because she good. He said, let me see if she got the juice. And she said, well, let's make her plans to meet for dinner on Friday. And he said, let me see what she can do first. He said, now go. So she's like, see you later, girlfriend. But Rebel was like, oh, hey, girl. And he was like, y'all know each other. And she said, oh, yeah, Taj produces her over at Redeeming Records and stuff. And he said, oh, you're a gospel singer. She said, no, gospel was my way of life or something was too much for them. And then, Essence like, yeah, I had to go back to my wretched music as well and all this stuff, trying to be home girls. She knows she feeling something because of Taj. She could see there's a connection some kind of way, but she ain't sure yet. Anyway, so she leave, and Rebel start to singing, and she singing this candy, candy, candy song, and want my candy, candy, daddy, daddy, and Xavier like, oh, ain't nothing wrong with the way you sing that and all that, but I ain't believing it, I ain't feeling it. So she put the tape away and start to walk away, and Rebel come back and say, I tried it. She started singing that song that Taj did from Danny's words that he produced. So she sang that a cappella, and he loved it. And he's like, okay, now, so to be a part of my company, we serious about our stuff. You got to be all in it. She said, oh, yeah, bet. She said, just one little thing, though. I'm still signed with, what's his name? Caesar Jones. And he's like, looking at her like, really? Really? But don't y'all forget what I said. That Essence, remember that Taj and CJ said, Essence reminds them of a younger version of Mom. So Essence got something trick up her sleeves. I'm telling y'all, saints, now, watch out for her. She gonna be something else. So now we have Calvin. He brings Denita food from her favorite lunch spot. She told him that the smell of that food triggers a good memory. And he said that's why he told her what restaurant it was and that it was her favorite. So Calvin shares that he went to a place called Hope House because she asked him, was you away? Didn't you say you was going away? So he said, yeah, and Hope House is a treatment center for depression. And he said Chief Ray convinced the DA not to press charges against him because he checked him, if he checked himself in. So that's what he did, you know. Then he asked Denita for her forgiveness. And I guess he told her the particulars of what happened. And she said she gave it to him. She'd given it to him. And he told her he gonna keep seeing a psychiatrist, you know, regularly. You know, and she asked him about their relationship. Are they good? And he told her that she asked him for a divorce. So he was being honest, you know. He told her after 30 years of marriage, she had had enough with his nonsense. And then she asked, was she a good wife? And he said, better than he deserved. And then he said, but no. I said, whoa, whoa. Oh, Lordy, no, he didn't tell her the truth again. Then Bishop told her he would help her put the pieces, missing pieces of her memory back, because she was saying she had some. So she said thank you, and then asked him, who is Danny? Because he must have been telling everything, you know. Anyway, then it switched over to Taj and Caesar. They talking, and he asks about Denita and her memory. Then he tells Taj that Rebel is getting a little restless, and as her producer, he needs Taj to keep her focused so she can see her future. And Taj just looks at him and shakes his head like, okay. So now CJ comes into Denita's room, and they discuss her tour, you know, and the album release, and ways for her to make money, you know, about the church making money, the record label making money, you know, all that. So she tells CJ, I may have forgotten, because CJ asked her, does she know how to still count money? She's told her, girl, I may have forgotten a lot of things, but counting my coins ain't one of them. And I fell out laughing. I thought that was funny. I said, I hear that, I hear that. That's it. So now we see Grandma Darlene, played by Loretta Devine, y'all know. And Taj is talking, and she's telling him that she's going to stay until the church and the record label get back on their feet. And she needs his help. Then she tells him that he needs to get married now. And he's like, what? And she said, you can't be having no baby out of wedlock. The saints won't be pleased. I said, oh, Lord Jesus, the saints. And he like, how you know? She's like, I could tell when I first met that girl that she was pregnant or something. And she told him to make the announcement after the marriage, because he said, I hadn't even proposed yet. She said, well, what you waiting on? Get it done. So she was kind of pressuring him. That's why I'm just wondering, are they the type of grandparents and stuff that they push their family members to do what they want them to do? Because that's what Denita was doing to her kids. And now we see Denita get it from her mama and her daddy, because both of them are pushing. They pushing saints of God. I don't understand. So she told him to make the announcement, I said, after the marriage. And she told him that his superstar girlfriend is going to be expecting a superstar ring. So he better get to it. So Xavier goes to Caesar's office with Rebel, and he says he wants to buy her contract. And Caesar lets him know that it's not for sale. Then he asks Xavier to excuse them for a minute, and he lets Rebel know that the grass always look greener on the other side. And he let her know that she ain't going to be no overnight success with Xavier, and that there's a whole lot of artists that he signed and you never heard of and never will hear. And Rebel said, you told me my gospel career was over. And he said, yes, I did. And I also said I have a plan for your rebirth. And she's like, well, I don't have time to wait, because he said it take time. So please just release me. Let me go, Caesar. And Caesar said, okay. And said she's going to have to fulfill her contractual obligations at Redeemer Records first, which is completing her album. So she tells him that Xavier already has things lined up for her, and Caesar lets her know that Xavier will not be able to release any music she makes with him until she is done at Redeemer. So Rebel gets up and says, is there anything else? And Caesar said, yeah, I need a favor. So what he does is he goes to the hospital to see Denita with Rebel. And when Denita sees him, she says she thinks she supposedly know him. And he tells her his name is, Caesar. And she says, well, it's a good, strong name. And she asks how they know each other. And he tells her he's in the music business like her. But they used to be boyfriend and girlfriend when they was younger, but he ain't tell that part. Anyway, but you ain't heard that from me now, did you? But then Rebel introduces herself, and Denita thought she was Caesar's daughter. And Denita asks if she sings too. And Rebel says, yes. Then Denita tells her that she's stunning and would love to hear her sing, and then added, I own a record label. She's like whispering, I own a record label. Caesar said, she's already signed with me. So Denita goes to finish her therapy, and Rebel asks Caesar, if she really don't remember. And Caesar said, so it seems. So he's upset because, he got that injunction, that lawsuit he doing. Anyway, now we have Taj playing the piano and singing. When Essence comes in the room, she tells him the song is beautiful and says, come on, let's go home. So Taj says, I'm working on something. And she said, are you working on something or you're working out something? And he's like, I said, oh, that just annoyed him because the way she said it was kind of annoying. I could tell y'all. So he stops playing and she says, I know that piano is your therapy. Do you want to talk about it? He's like, so. He says, I think we should get married. In essence, it's like, say, what? And he said he wants them to be a family. And she's like, oh, you want one of them traditional families? But she also said she don't need to be married to be a family. So she asked him, where is this coming from? Your dysfunctional parents or your dysfunctional grandparents? Because she ain't hearing nothing about love. I said, oh, no, she didn't read him like the Bible. Yes, she did. Because she put him in check. He ain't mentioned nothing about love. Just about a baby, he ain't never said he loved her, or in love with her. None of that I know. I could be wrong. Y'all put it down in the comment section, but I don't believe so. So now Sasha shows up to the hospital. Ooh, she a mess. Didn't anybody warn Denita about her assistant? Didn't nobody tell her? So she tries to be slick and get Denita to sign a recording contract for her at First Kingdom Records. And Denita says, I don't remember discussing that with you. But Sasha still tries to get her to sign it, saying that, oh, it happened before your injury, so you may have forgot. I just want to remind you. Then Denita asks if she's going to sign it and then said, I'm sorry. I can't legally sign anything in my current state. So she gave CJ temporary power of attorney, she said. So go talk to CJ. I'm sure she'll remember and give you everything that you need. I fell out laughing. But I tell you, when she did that, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I thought she really had her memory back. I think she was trying to be funny and be slick and get back at Sasha. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about that scene. But that's what it seemed like to me. And oh Lord, now we have Danny's parents. Ooh, Jesus. Ooh, remember they gave a lot of money to the church in the first season. And they walked up in Bishop's office and went off. When I say they went off, they let the Christian in them off on the shelf and they went in, let the devil use them. I said, go ahead. And they called him out, all of his lies and stuff. And the father is really pissed, because he slept with his daughter. And they said they didn't want to hear no sorry for him. They just want to know who is responsible for their daughter's death. And they don't believe anything that Bishop had to say. And they walked out pissed. So now we see Denita's home, and she is sitting at the table talking with her pitiful mama. Her mama is a trip. I can't take her. She tells Denita that she and Calvin no longer have a role at the church. Do you see that what they did? And told her she should be focusing on getting well and running the label. Ooh, she's so bossy. Now let's see definitely where Denita get it from. And she ended with, it's a courtesy we extended, so don't even try us. I said, dang, that's how you talk to your daughter who just been shot? Next thing we see Bishop and Deacon Dwayne sitting at a piano talking. And this is the first time I've ever heard like Calvin going to Deacon Dwayne for any information. It's usually always Denita. So anyway, he tells Calvin that sometimes God calls for more than one person to repent for the sins of many. And he tells Calvin that he has been called to be a light, so let your light shine. I said, well, thank you, Jesus, for the light. I tell you. So now CJ, who we learned stands for Sierra Joy. I can't remember ever hearing that in season 1, but I can be wrong about that too. She's leaving the house when her grandmother asked to speak with her, and then lets her know that she and CJ's grandfather are going to rearrange the church staff, and they want CJ to preach on Sunday because they know that every PK, and y'all know who don't know, PK stand for Preacher's Kid, has one great sermon in them. And they also want Malcolm, that's her husband, to be minister of music now. Nurse Malcolm, The Minnesota News, Lord Jesus. Anyway, so CJ says she will speak with her husband and they will pray on it. And Darlene said, I know that God said it to me and he is never wrong and neither am I. I said, listen to this mess. Listen to it. So Xavier and Rebel, they show up for dinner with Taj and Essence. Essence tell Taj that, first of all, Rebel told Xavier not to tell Essence that she was a stripper because some people think certain things. And he was like, well, okay. So Essence tell Taj that X better not mess this up. And then she jumps up and says, congratulations to Rebel. I'm like, mess it up. You see how she is? She trying to get Rebel away from Taj because she know there's some kind of chemistry, something happening. Anyway, they sit down and start talking. And that's when Taj learns that Rebel is working on something with Xavier. And Taj asks Essence, did she set that up as well? Then he asks Rebel, does Caesar know? And she tells him what Caesar said. Then Essence says, look at the universe, a perfect pair, personal and professional. I said, personal? Was she trying to hook them up like a couple? What kind of mess she doing? She's so busy, so scared. She feels intimidated. Now, I don't know if it's intimidated, but she feels like she has competition in Rebel. And I don't know why, but that's what she feels. Anyway, Taj takes her hand when she says that, and he kisses it as Rebel just looks at them. I said, Taj has been being more affectionate lately, and I'm like, it feels like it's forced or phony. That's what I see, because we ain't seen none of that affection in season 1. I keep telling y'all. So Rebel and Essence are at Xavier's studio about to record when Rebel thanks her for doing this. I'm like, what is this? What did she do for her, you know? So then Essence says, I remember how great you were doing that duet with Taj at Faith Night. I said, uh-oh. She said, I thought it'd be fun to see if we have the same connection. I said, oh, that sounds like trouble to me. Y'all all know that sounds like trouble. So they start recording a demo. Next, we have Sasha, and it was nice. It was a nice demo. So next, we have Sasha showing up at Redeeming Records asking Caesar to sign her up. But he was like, you said Denita was begging you to sign up at First Kingdom Records. Or has she forgotten with her amnesia? And Sasha says, I think I'm a better fit with you. And so Caesar told her to bring him. He walked her to the door, really, out his office, and told her can she bring him something else to listen to other than her singing outside in front of the hospital. And she's like, she kind of starts flirting with him, you know, and telling him that once he sees what she's capable of, he will be begging for more. And his face was kind of scrunched up like, what the devil? Now that doesn't sound like singing to me. It sounds like she talking about sex. I don't care. Sister Junebug ain't stupid. I may be a Christian, but I ain't stupid. I know what I hear. So now we see CJ and Taj talking, and she asks him about his proposal, and he's going to do, you know, and she tells him, she knows that he probably prayed about it, but she also knows he's the type of person who always tries to do the right thing. So she asking, is this what you truly want, like in your heart? And Taj says, I think so. See, he ain't even sure. I'm telling y'all, he ain't sure. He says he wants to marry the mother of his child. So CJ said, I know you'll be a great father, but what about a loving husband to your wife? And he says he gonna go all in and pray that his heart follows. See, I'm telling y'all. So now it's Sunday morning, and Darlene is introducing her granddaughter CJ to the church to preach. Malcolm and Taj are sitting in the front pews, and CJ gets up to the podium, and Taj says, preach, preacher, and winks at his sister. Then CJ says a prayer and starts her sermon. Denita walks in wearing a bright yellow coat and a red beret. Darlene decides to get up and announce to the congregation that First Lady Denita's there because she had already made a stir coming in late and the doors make sounds, you know, and that bright yellow's her blinding everybody, you know. Anyway, then CJ invited her up to the pulpit to say a few words, and first Denita said no. Then she went up there and said what she wanted to say, thanking folks for their prayers and stuff. Then she sat down next to Darlene on the pulpit, who looked over at her and said, we will talk. So she mad. Darlene mad that she showed up. So then CJ had the congregations turn to Galatians 6 in their Bibles. So y'all all better go read Galatians 6 because that's what CJ Sierra Joy was preaching. Now we have Taj and Essence out at a lovely restaurant when he gets up and someone passes him his guitar and he sings to Essence and she starts getting giggly like, oh no, you're not going to do this here. Oh no, she already know. So this man has put together this big elaborate proposal in this restaurant with folks giving her roses and a choir singing and of course Essence said yes, like she was having an orgasm or something. And everyone in the place was clapping. I tell you, it was elaborate. Then it ends, and on such short notice, that was wonderful. It was beautiful though, y'all. Then it ends with Rebel at that private party that Dex told her about. It's the same thing Danny was a part of, which I thought Rebel knew. I'm shocked she's there. But all of a sudden, Bishop Calvin comes in there and makes a scene asking the DJ to turn off the music, but he won't. So Calvin pulls the plug out of the wall. That's the bishop. And then he makes his heartfelt plea to all of these top professional men in the room. Dex comes out and tells him to compose himself and get the F up out of his party before he ends his life. And Calvin tells the ladies they are risking their lives. Remember Dana Williams, he said. She was killed because of her involvement in one of these parties. And so Rebel is watching but not saying anything. So Rebel needs to check herself because ain't no money worth getting yourself killed. Especially you see what happened to your friend. So Dex starts beating up on Calvin and no one would help. And Calvin was calling out some of the men's names. Speak up. And this Dex put a knife to Calvin's throat. But that's when Rebel said, Dex, no, don't kill him. And then that one man spoke up after that. That's right. And he said, I don't know who did it, but he's right. It's not right what we do. So then Dex told them both to get the F up out of his club. And Rebel just stood there looking. And Calvin saw Rebel and looked at her and told her, she better than this. And Rebel just stood there and didn't know what to say. And that's how it ended, y'all. So y'all let me know what y'all thought down in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. This is Sister Junebug saying, God bless.